The only thing that's constant is change. Heraclitus said that, and Soke Hirano said that, and change was certainly in the air for Japan International Karate Center. It was a time of growth, but it was a time of changing in techniques, changing in the way that we taught. It was the time that everything became structured. There was no more white belt sparring as the first day they came to class. By probably 66, you had to be at least a purple belt before you started free sparring, which was still kind of counterproductive. But the basic techniques of what we did when JIKC stopped being under Wado Kai or Wado Ryu had very little to do with the techniques. We still used the same body shifting. We still practiced everything the same. The only thing that we did that Soke certainly adopted from Shotokan was a more structured way to teach. Now, he did not take on Shotokan's concept of being as stiff as a board and being so rigid and everything else. He used the Wado way of doing that, which is still a signature of our way of teaching today. But it was a great time. There were a lot of things happening. We would have training ships that would come from Japan, and those training ships would come in to spar with us at night after the dojo was closed, and that was the only time that all of the seniors could spar at full speed without being concerned about hurting somebody. Or, you know, if you get hurt in the dojo, that means you can't train the next day. So you had to always take it pretty easy with your partners. But when the ships came, the gloves were off. It was nothing we had to do. That's where very quickly you learned how to kick to the shins and grab the gi and punch to the face. It was over quickly, and that was the whole key, was not to let it last too long. But it was a great time for the dojo. We had very much like the Wild West. We had people coming in to challenge us all the time, and when you went into a dojo to spar, you started off asking the instructor to please have someone teach you how to spar, and you'd start off with the lowest, and depending on how good you got, you could get to the instructor. They kind of frowned on this, but let's put it this way. Nobody ever got to spar that come to visit our dojos from the outside dojos with Soke. They never got past either Calvin Lum or Homo Senpai or me or Oku or Johnny Cabral or one of these other guys that trained all the time. They never even got close to Shihan Sensei because they're just not in the same vein. But a lot of them tried. We had, you know, that was the normal thing. And to my enjoyment, Calvin Lum and I occasionally visited all sorts of dojos, from the One Shoe and the Kung Fu guys to all of these other people. Since he was Chinese and he spoke Chinese and he was as big as a house, it was very easy to do. And he and I became great friends. But the dojo really grew during this period of time. And Soke's concept of the compass was really getting put together. And that's when we decided that it was time for the dojos to expand. And the next expansion was to be to all of the islands, not just Oahu. So in the following year, in 1968, we opened 3 dojos in Kauai, on the Big Island, and mine in Maui. And change was happening.